This is the Centurion Leadership Battalion Show with Justin Bizzarro. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro. For anyone who's out there who wants to find us, you can find us on Instagram at Justin Bizzarro, Bizzarro, or a new Instagram before, which is Centurion.Battalion that we are building that probably doesn't have anything on it yet. So be patient. We're working on it, I promise. But today's topic, I'm going to dive right into it. This is really happening to me. It's happening with someone I'm mentoring, coaching, involved with in business, and it recently came through as a question. So I put this episode into the front of the line because I literally wanted to push everything back, which causes a lot of headache when you have to reschedule all the episodes we've already previously recorded. But now that the episodes are coming out, and the ones that are still coming out after this will be pre-recorded, because I did a bunch before we released all of them and started launching the North Show. That way we had enough in case I got sick or whatever. But I've actually held off because I really wanted to deal with this topic because it's really come to focus in my life. I've had a question come through, a couple actually, that are similar in Instagram and in the Justin the Food Entrepreneurs podcast, as well as the Justin Ryan Bizzarro show. There's been these questions that have been asked. I've had someone reach out on here, ask a similar question, and now I have a few individuals that I'm working with, great entrepreneurs who oddly are going through this, okay? And whether they were a gym owner or a clothing manufacturer or a food entrepreneur, I found that all this seems to be a topic that all entrepreneurs in general and leaders go through. But I'm going to read you guys something. So today's question is, what happens when we no longer believe in ourselves? Okay, I think this is a crazy good topic. I'm going to read you the definition from Berkeley Wellbeing Institute, because this is more than just, I don't believe in myself, what's going on here, I'm not like anyone. It's like so many people go through this. There's articles written about it all over the internet. And while I've pointed these individuals into that situation, or shown them articles, I think it's different when they know someone close to them or someone that has success or built things has gone through it, okay? So I picked this topic, one, because I've been there. I've been there numerous times. It's usually something that happens, like 1 day a week or 2 days a week sometimes for individuals, and other days you do believe in yourself. So it's the problem of getting stuck in the habit of not believing in yourself over a long period of time that really can be detrimental. So let's talk about the definition from the Berkeley Wellbeing Institute. You can find it on berkeleywellbeing.com for anyone who's out there. The lack of self-confidence or lack of belief in ourselves mean we are less likely to act, to change, or to push to make things better. As a result, when we expect to fail, we are actually more likely to fail. Okay? That means if I don't believe in myself anymore, I'm more likely to fail. That's crazy, right? Like we're literally driving the car into the guardrail by focusing on the guardrail. Okay, we're become not successful in our mind. We're going to become not successful in reality. It's scary. It's very scary. But I figure I will touch upon this. So, couple things that I want to talk about is when we don't believe in ourselves, what happens to us? Well, we become lazy. We're less likely to get up every day. We're less likely to do things. We stop trying in life. We become mediocre. We become less than average, actually, because we're not even trying. We don't believe the impossible is possible anymore, so we stop doing that. We lose hope. We lose faith. We start comparing ourselves to other people and why they have it, and therefore they must believe in themselves and we don't. Or someone must believe in them that doesn't believe in us. Okay? We lose our lust for life, meaning we lose our purpose. We lose what gets us up in the morning. We lose the things that we fight for. We lose the businesses, the humans, the families. I have been there. I made the mistake of losing faith in myself and believing in myself at times. And it cost me my family, it cost me friends, it cost me businesses. And I'll get into why those things happen, but they do happen, especially the more successful you are. The more successful you are, the more people tell you it's luck. Weirdly, the less you believe in yourself. Okay? The other part is when you stop believing in yourself, other people stop believing in you. So here's a compounding effect. Someone stops believing in you, you stop believing in you, then everyone stops believing in you. And it's really hard when you're a creative person. It's really hard when you're an entrepreneur and you're a builder. It's really hard to lose faith. You go to some really, really dark places. So I don't say that lightly. I say that because I've been there. I've been to some of the darkest places you can imagine because I am an entrepreneur and I am a leader and I put everything on the line. And often when I'm trying to lead against the status quo or against where everyone's going to find the opportunities, because I do believe we're doing the wrong thing, people will stop believing in you, and therefore you start questioning yourself whether you're doing the right thing or not. You got to have faith. I also find those that start losing faith in themselves, start blaming others. They make up excuses. They never show up. They're never there. They stop doing the things that they say they're going to do. Okay? One of the things that I will say, I'm going to talk about this. Let's just go through what happens. How do we get to stop believing in ourselves? One, we don't believe in ourselves because someone told us we shouldn't. We either grew up that way or we have a voice in our head that's not our own, that's someone else's, that's telling us it. We have a relationship where the other person is overcritical of us, or both of our accomplishments and our failures, whether it's a parent, a spouse, a child. You can have children that will drive this into you, especially when they don't accept you for what you've done for them or deny what you've done for them and deny how you identify yourself with them. We talked about identity crisis and an episode coming up about that. And as I'm recording this, there's still the episode about, that and what identity crisis means. But this is sort of along the same lines, which is probably why I got this question. We feel failure and we focus on all the things we have failed at. Okay? This happens all the time. We play the dirty reel in our head. Reels is really popular right now. But when we don't believe in ourselves, we only play the reels in our head of our failures. This happens in relationships too, guys. When we are mad at someone or they did something to harm us, we only play the reels in our head of the things that they did wrong. We don't actually focus on the beauty of our relationships, of our marriages, of the loving people, of our families. I've been there too. You've got to make sure you play the reels of the good things too in your families, not just the bad things. If someone pisses you off, you don't need to go searching the reels in your head to verify all the things. And what I will say also while I'm on this topic is we often have friends that call ourselves friends that encourage us to play the dirty reels on the humans that harm us or solely harm us versus looking at it, are they just being in a relationship? Did they mean to harm us? And what about all the good things about that person? Just saying, why play all the dirty reels when there is a beauty there to be celebrated? Always in our lives. I play the good reels always. That doesn't mean that I don't look at the negative things or maybe I get taken advantage of because I always try to play the good reels. But I do try to be there because if I don't believe in myself. When I play the dirty reels of myself, when I play the dirty reels of other people, it leads to downward spirals. Okay? What else? We focus on the lack in our life instead of the abundance. This is the comparison thing that we've talked about on this podcast numerous times. Comparison leads to suffering. So when we compare ourselves to everyone else's success, we will always feel like failures because there's always going to be someone more successful than us at something. Okay, but there's never anyone who's more successful at being you than you, should you choose it. We have never had the support to build up our self-esteem in the first place. Okay? That means that every time we stand up a parent knocks us down, a business partner knocks us down. We talk about the tall poppy syndrome in this podcast a couple episodes ago. We talked about the crab bucket mentality. So, that's really where this comes from. It's almost, and people get to tipping points. And if you don't believe in yourself, and it goes from 1 day a week to 2 days a week to 3 days a week to 5 days a week to 6 days a week to 7 days a week, where you can't even get up during the day, where you can't even leave the bathroom during the morning, you can't get out of bed, you don't have any purpose. Like every time you show up somewhere and you start actually doing something and believing in yourself again, there's those individuals around you who knock you down, the criticism, the arguments, the name calling, the abuse. If you don't believe in yourself, you got to change your environment, guys. I know this is hard for everyone to believe and understand, but sometimes the best things for our relationships and for us is to take distance and bring space. Why? Because we need time to think. Why is that? Let me tell you. Because opinions of others aren't facts. And when other people do things or have to be right and they tell us things or they have their opinions and they're only playing the negative reels about us and telling us about us, yes, that will make you stop believing in yourself. You need to put distance between you and that person or those people, those humans that really, whether they mean to or not and they think they're helping you, they are causing you massive harm. It is their opinion of you. It's not a fact. You know you, and maybe you're misguided or you have an ego or a character flaw, and you should listen to others, but I promise you that all humans have a purpose of doing good in this world. All humans have the purpose of procreating, and if you're not procreating, you still have the thing that happens after procreation, which is raising and growing humans. All of us have that responsibility on this earth, including being angels on this earth for the animals and the plants and the organisms that live here. Okay? You got to understand number two, like when you're trying to get out of this, you got to understand that growth is going to take time. It takes baby steps. It takes small daily wins. It takes going to group settings. You got to go to groups. I know everyone thinks therapists are the answer. I agree in some ways. But therapists generally have never been through what you've been through. They have no idea what you're talking about half the time. And some of the advice they give is not always great. And you need to understand that sometimes they can help you with one thing, but they may not be able to help you with all things. And honestly and weirdly, I would say that group settings are a better deal. People have been through what you've been through. They're living it. They're getting through it. But in those group settings, do not attach yourself to someone who's constantly victimizing themselves or allowing victimization to happen to them and constantly not believing in themselves. Okay? Because ultimately what a person does that's criticizing you, that's knocking you down, is they don't believe in themselves, so they don't believe in you either. Think about it. Fear can't stop you. Okay, what do I mean? I mean, fear is a construct in our head. Like boundaries and borders that we've been talking about. If the boundary of the United States and Canada is a figment of our imagination, we created it and we uphold it, but it's not real. So everyone's like, oh, you're a liar, and goes through your life and you don't believe in yourself and you did this and you're not really that person. Well, guess what? We do a lot of things and we lie all the time as humans. So stop calling people liars. Stop calling people whatever they are. You know what's a lie? Is that we have borders. It's a lie. God didn't create them. We created them. They're figments of our imagination. Okay, we uphold them because we uphold the lie and the figment to make constructs so governments can exist and we can have freedoms within those boundaries. But again, they're constructs of our mind. I often see this. People are like, you're a liar, you're a liar. Well, what's the truth in the construct of that person's mind? Are they a liar in their own mind, and what damage? Okay, you want truth? Everyone wants truth. My favorite thing in therapy is like, oh, what's the truth? Well, it depends on the person, and I get opinions and facts, but unless it's a factual thing, unless it's actually a number on a piece of paper, because numbers don't lie, generally they are not facts. They are a conversation, and how you interpret the words of someone versus how they interpret the words of you are different. And someone will always be out there trying to twist their words through their lenses to meet their, what? Goals in life, or the way they feel about themselves, or project them on you through your words. They'll twist them, they'll turn them, they'll make them mean different things. They'll turn them around on you because they want to be right. And that's when you start not believing in yourself. Believe me, I've had it. Family, relationships. Okay, so don't let fear stop you. Why? Because fear holds us back from trying in the first place. Fear stops us from letting go of the opinions of others that don't matter. And fear stops us from moving forward, which we need to do every day. That's why if you go into a step program, they're like, do 90 days in a row. Because the 90 days is actually for you to fake it until you make it. So you start believing in yourself. You start believing it's possible. Because you're building the small habits. Remember what I said, growth takes time. It does not happen overnight. We need to work at it. It's baby steps. Okay? We are all unique. Okay? I don't mean that we're good enough. Don't confuse what I'm saying here. Okay? Weirdly believing in yourself means that I know that I'm not good enough, so I've always got to be growing. Okay? It doesn't mean that I don't believe in myself. There's two different statements there. Okay? I know I'm not good enough. Okay? That doesn't mean I doubt myself or I bash myself. It just means that I'm always striving to be better. To be a better human, to be better to the world, to be better to my family, to be better to my friends, to surround myself with better humans, who we're going to talk about in an episode that I pre-recorded that'll be out any time now. Okay? Why is it important to surround yourself with great humans? This is exactly the reasons, because when you don't, you have negative humans who don't spread positivity, don't pollinate the world positively. And when you do that, of course they don't believe in you, and you're not going to believe in yourself because they don't believe in themselves either. So they knock you down to try to think that they'll start believing in themselves if they're bigger than you, taller than you, stronger than you. But they're always stronger, younger, more beautiful. Always. Doesn't matter. That's the nature of life. And the unique thing is we are unique. Each of us has an idea. If we try to be someone else, we are just trying to be someone else. We are imitating them. We are mimicking them. Okay? And the thing that I found the most is that we are all capable of starting over again. Without any money. Without our relationships. I know. I've done it. I'm in the middle of it. Rebuilding, trying to figure it out, rebuild businesses. That's why Freedom Foods is becoming a business to go after what Food Service Partners did. That's why I started these podcasts, because I'm going after it hard. That's why I'm doing the TV show Foodtopia. That's why I'm trying to figure out every person that aligns with me and the things that I like, I'm aligning myself with. You see me do the New York State of Mind. Well, I believe in a New York State of Mind. I've spent a lot of time there. I did all the hospital's food in all of the city of New York for 18 years with business partners and people. Okay? I will go back after that contract. Trust me. I'm building the alliance that I should have built in the first place. I have the right people involved. I have the people that actually believe in me and I believe in them. And they believe in themselves and I believe in me. But I had to get there first. I didn't have that before. I had a group of people that just tore each other down to try to get ahead in the world. They pointed out all the negatives and never did anything about it, never provided solutions. And therefore, when they stopped believing in themselves, they stopped believing in me and tore me down too. And then I stopped believing in myself. Okay? We have a choice whether we let them in. And for leaders and businesses, we need to exit these people from our businesses and our leaders before they tear down our whole company or organization. Trust me. I've seen it. I've watched it. Look at a 24-year company go down the tubes. Okay? Let me give you guys some tips here. So, one of the things we have to do is we just have to accept what our current situation is, bad, good, or indifferent. The more we get comfortable where we are, but uncomfortable in that it's not good enough, that we've got to take the baby steps for our life to get better, but we've got to have comfort, because if we don't accept where we are, whether we're broke, I just shared it at my reel on this on my Instagram not too long ago. We don't accept we're broke. We don't accept that we have failed, maybe, but I don't see it as failure. We've just got to accept what we've done. We've also got to accept the good things we've done. If we don't accept where we are or what our thing is, we will never be able to share it with someone to help them grow. We have to accept where we are. We have to start thinking about the times we have been successful. All the past times that we actually did win. What was that like? Who were we surrounded with? Why did we win then versus not winning before? It's not a matter of I'm a failure. It's a matter of my surroundings. Okay? Maybe I made decisions, but again, who was I surrounded with? What was I surrounded with? What about the times I was successful? What was the difference? Who, what, when? Who was I surrounded with? When was the timing? And what was going on? You start building trust with yourself. That means, like I said, build daily habits. Go to the gym. If you don't want to do that, go for a walk every day. Rain, sun, or shine. That's why 75 Hard works so well. It is a program that gets you into discipline and helps you start believing in yourself always, indefinitely. Have conversations with yourself and God. Start talking. Start reinforcing things. I don't believe in standing in a mirror and telling you things in positive reinforcement. It does not work for me. I could stand in the mirror all day long, believe in myself, and still feel like shit. It does not work for me. What works for me is random acts of kindness. What works for me is going out there and doing what I say I'm going to do. And it's going and accomplishing things and then reinforcing those positivities with myself after I do them. Shit, you didn't want to go to the gym today, but you really fucking did it today. Not everyone can do that. Okay. I want you to think of fear as a 4-letter word that actually means false evidence that appears real. Again, fear, false evidence that appears real. I get this from one of the step programs I've been involved in related to God. God being my higher power, doing things to be closer to God. Let me repeat that. Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence that appears real. False evidence appears real. Get rid of that. False evidence appears real. The borders. False evidence appears real. It's a lie. Borders are a lie. We create them in our head. They're figments of our imagination. Nature, God, no one created them but man. Money. Man created it. Stop being so attached to it. Let yourself off the hook when you make mistakes. Let yourself off the hook for the past. There's millions upon millions and billions of people that have lived this planet. You think they all haven't made mistakes? You think they all don't live in fear? Okay? This is my favorite one because this one gets me out of it all the time. It's why I have the bee tattooed on my hand. Positive attitude. You got to work on it every day, and you got to fake it even if it's not real. I know everyone's like, be real. If you're not okay, invest in someone and tell them you're not okay. No one cares about your feelings. I'm sorry. I care about you as a human. I care about where we're going and our purpose. But often, even in our relationships, it's hard. People don't care about your feelings as much. You know when people care about you? When you're being positive. And you know when you're being positive and you're down, they're going to be like, that's not like you. You're right, because we only get one shot at life. You know, and happiness and love and positivity is our responsibility. And if we spread negativity, we're robbing people of their peace of mind. I know it's hard to believe because when we don't believe in ourselves and we're the leaders and we're the entrepreneurs, then other people stop believing in us and themselves, because if we can't do it and we have what we have, then they must never be able to do it. So you got to be positive. I believe in this. You got to find mentors, coaches, friends that believe in you, that help you, that encourage you, that don't fall into the D's that we'll talk about on another episode, the 13 D's. You know, they want to encourage you. They believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. They believe in themselves even when they don't. I know that doesn't make any sense, okay? What else did I say? Keep moving. I talked about the 90 days. Keep moving and don't look back unless there's a lesson to be learned. And if you look back, it's not to criticize yourself or to live in the past or to feel like a failure. It's because it's to help you grow so you can keep moving forward and do better in the future. Okay? I'm going to read you a quick quote by Martin Luther King Jr. on this because I think it's significant. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Martin Luther King, I'll read it one more time. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Okay? And I will tell you this last one, which is let life work for you. Let things be another fucking growing opportunity. AFGO. You could spell UGO, another growing opportunity, but for me, I need the F-bomb to really push it home to me. Another fucking growing opportunity, Justin. You got to get through this. It sucks. You have nothing. You're trying to figure out a podcast. You're trying to figure out new businesses. You're trying to figure out how to move forward with a family. You know, you're trying to repair relationships. You're having a lot of prayers over things you've done and mistakes and wish you never did them. Well, you can't wish them away. You can only move forward and change the future and be prepared for if those individuals come back into your life. Or if your friends who you want in your life are the right friends or maybe the right relationships. Do they bring in the things that are right, or do they make you stop believing in yourself? You know, everyone's like, oh, it's not someone else's responsibility. You're right, it's not my responsibility, but it is my responsibility to choose my environment, my friends, my family. Who do I hang out with? Who has influence over me? Who's positive in my life? Who's allowing my life to move forward? Who believes that every failure is also a growing opportunity? The individuals are crushing you for failure or mad at you for making mistakes or doing things, then those aren't the people you want in your life. Because guess what? They're always going to be resentful towards you because they have spiritual maladies. We talked about some of them in the What is Spiritual Maladies episode. Individuals who resent you, individuals who come after you, individuals who come after what you're doing, they have resentments because they have those things because they have spiritual maladies. Okay? So if you want to boost your confidence, you got to just start with doing the right things. You got to start by being brave and being courageous and doing the things you don't want to do. You don't want to get off the couch, you got to get off the couch. You don't want to go to the gym, you got to go to the gym. You don't want to record a podcast today, you got to fucking record the podcast. You don't want to go to your business, you got to go. Okay? I know that's hard to believe. There's lots of times I don't want to do things, especially as I'm running around New York a lot of the time. I don't want to deal with the traffic. I don't want to deal with the people. I don't want to deal with the subway. I still go and do it and get my shit done. Why? Because it's about more than just me. That's when you start believing in yourself that our purpose is more about than just us and about what we do. And we have to realize that. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a choice. You want happiness, you want joy, you want to have nothing but still find the greatest things in the world. Buddhism does a great job of this. Have nothing yet still find happiness and joy. Detach yourself from the outcomes. Ultimately, that's what happens. You detach yourself from the outcome. I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. I do it because I believe in the individuals. I do it because I believe in the future of humans and our planet and regenerating it. Find the things that really inspire you. Find the things that you like to do. Find the things that give you purpose, but don't waste it. Okay? Sitting in front of a TV, watching Netflix galore and not having an educational experience in it isn't going to grow you or make you start believing in yourself. You're just going to start comparing yourself to other people. You're going to get lazy. You're going to get overweight. You're going to eat too much. You're not going to eat healthy. These are all things that are a little ticking away at not believing in yourself because you're not doing the right thing. You're not doing the right thing by society. You're not doing the right thing by yourself. So if you want to start believing in yourself, it's a change. And it's really small ones. Start drinking water instead of soda. Change little things. Don't tweak it all at once or you will not succeed. It just becomes harder and your mind will start reinforcing that you're a failure. Why? Because you're taking on too much. You can't take on too much. You have to build small habits, small steps daily, and then build upon those victories and those wins. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. I'm Justin Bizzarro. That's Bizzarro. If you want to find us, you can listen to us on Spotify or wherever else you grow yourself through podcasts, and we're out.